Gather round the hearth, for tonight we tell a tale older than the stones of this land, a tale of Albion, the ancient name of Britain. From the white cliffs that greet the dawn to the myths of a giantess who walked these shores, what secrets lie behind this name? Welcome to Echoes of Albion. Let's unveil the story of our island's first whisper. Long before the name Britain was etched into history, this island bore another title, Albion. The name first appears in the writings of the Greek geographer Ptolemy in the 2nd century AD, who called these lands Albion in his great work, the Geographia. But its roots stretch far deeper into the mists of the Celtic past. Scholars believe Albion derives from the Celtic word albio or alba, meaning white, a nod perhaps to the towering white cliffs of Dover, which rise like sentinels against the sea, their chalky faces gleaming in the dawn. To the ancient Celts who revered the land as sacred, these cliffs may have been a symbol of purity and power, a gateway to their island home. Yet there's another theory, one that whispers of the divine. Some link Albion to Albiorix, a Celtic god whose name means king of the world, a deity of sovereignty and strength worshipped by the tribes of Gaul and Britain. Could the name Albion have been a tribute to this god, a declaration of the island's might? Imagine a Celtic druid standing atop those cliffs, his cloak billowing in the wind, gazing across the waves to the lands beyond. To him, this was Albion, a land of white shores and ancient magic, a realm where gods walked among men. For those who trace their lineage to Britain, this name may stir a memory of your ancestral homeland, a place where the earth itself spoke to its people, whispering its name through the ages. But the name Albion carries more than history. It carries a myth, a tale woven by the medieval chronicler Geoffrey of Monmouth in his Historia Regum Britannia, written in 1136. Let us step into that story as it was told by the firesides of old, a legend of a giantess who gave this land its name. In a distant kingdom across the sea there lived the king of Greece with 30 daughters, each more beautiful than the last. The eldest, Albina, was the tallest and most willful, her spirit as fierce as the storms that battered her father's shores. When the king arranged marriages for his daughters to secure alliances, Albina and her sisters rebelled. "We are daughters of a king," Albina declared, her voice like thunder, "and we will not be bartered like cattle." In secret, the sisters plotted, and on the night of their weddings they slew their husbands, their daggers flashing in the moonlight. The king, enraged by their defiance, banished them from his realm, casting them into wooden ships with no sails, no oars, and no hope of return. The sea roared as the sisters drifted, their ship a fragile speck amid the waves. For days they battled hunger and despair, their voices raised in songs of defiance, until at last the currents carried them to an uninhabited island, its shores wild and untamed. Albina stepped onto the land, her giantess form towering over the cliffs, her hair streaming like a banner in the wind. "This shall be our kingdom," she proclaimed, "and I name it Albion after myself, for I am its first queen." The sisters, each a giantess in her own right, roamed the island, their laughter echoing through the forests, their footsteps carving valleys into the earth. They gave birth to a race of giants, mighty beings who ruled Albion for generations, their shadows stretching across the land. But their reign was not to last. Centuries later, a Trojan prince named Brutus, a descendant of the hero Aeneas, sailed to these shores with his warriors, seeking a new home after the fall of Troy. When Brutus landed, he found a land of giants, their roars shaking the hills. A fierce battle ensued, the clash of bronze against stone as Brutus and his men fought to claim the island. In the end, the giants were vanquished, and Brutus named the land Britain after himself, building a new kingdom upon the bones of Albion's past. Yet the name Albion endured, a whisper of the giantess who first claimed this land, her story a testament to the untamed spirit of the island's earliest days. Though Brutus renamed the land Britain, the name Albion never faded. It became a poetic echo, a name that carried the weight of the island's ancient past. In the courts of medieval Britain, bards and chroniclers whispered of Albion, weaving its name into tales of magic and might. By the 12th century, when Geoffrey of Monmouth penned his Historia Regum Britannia, Albion was more than a name. It was a symbol of the land's untamed spirit, a reminder of the giants who once roamed its hills. As the centuries passed, the name took on new life in the words of poets and dreamers. In the 18th century, William Blake, a visionary poet, wrote The Daughters of Albion in his mystical works, seeing the name as a call to spiritual awakening, a vision of Britain's divine essence. Blake imagined Albion as a sleeping giant, a personification of the land itself, waiting to rise and reclaim its ancient glory. Even in the modern age, the name endures, etched into the fabric of British culture. From the football clubs that bear its name, West Bromwich Albion and Brighton and Hove Albion, to the songs and stories that still call this island by its ancient title, Albion remains a whisper of the past, a name that evokes the white cliffs, the rolling hills, and the untamed heart of Britain. For those who trace their lineage to Britain, the name Albion may stir a deep connection, a memory of the land your ancestors called home, a land where giants once walked and where the echoes of their stories still linger. As we journey through the ages with echoes of Albion, this name will be our guide, a beacon that lights the way to the tales of our island's past, from its ancient dawn to its modern heartbeat. For millions around the world, the name Albion may not be just a poetic relic, but a distant echo of ancestry. Perhaps your surname traces back to these misty isles. Perhaps a family story, long forgotten, took root here. The name Albion then becomes more than myth or history. It becomes a memory. It invites you to not only learn about Britain's past, but to see your own reflection in it. Whether Albion rose from chalk cliffs or the footsteps of giants, its story reminds us that names carry power. Albion isn't just a place on a map. It's a symbol, a spirit. It speaks of a time when the land was wild and gods walked among mortals, when stories shaped identity, and even now, in quiet moments, we may still feel its presence, in the rolling hills, the crash of waves, or a whisper in the wind. Did you enjoy uncovering the ancient name of Albion? Subscribe to Echoes of Albion for more tales of British history and mythology as we journey through every era of this island's past, from the footprints of its earliest peoples to the songs of its modern bards. For those who trace their lineage to Britain, these stories are a window into your ancestral homeland. Join us to hear the echoes of your past. Thank you for gathering round the hearth with us, and until next time, may the tales of Albion light your way.